Cool. Hey guys, I'm Alex, and
I'm Kathryn.
welcome to EIM's second podcast. EIM at UCSD works to promote exercise as essentially a means of healthcare. We also want to foster professional interest and development in careers involving sports, health, and exercise medicine. Today, Jasmin Gomez, a fellow UCSD student, is with us. We are so excited to have her because Jasmine was recruited as a personal trainer during her third year, as she was noticed for her passion for fitness and wellness. She is going to share her fitness and wellness journey with us and how it helped shape her overall lifestyle, educational pursuits, and her decision to start a meal prep business. And I just wanted to mention that I met Jasmine through UCSD Rec, and we worked the 3 to 7 shift. And if you heard reggaeton and EDM and Dua Lipa playing in the gym, it's because we were on shift. So yeah.
We're so excited to have you here. And before we kick off the podcast, we wanted just to say a little disclaimer. None of us are like medical or fitness professionals, and the information we discuss today is just like our opinions, our statements. And while we hope it educates you guys, we don't want anything to be accidentally misconstrued as medical advice. But yeah, welcome, Jasmine.
Thank you. So should I just go about saying how I started and all that stuff?
That'd be amazing. Let us know like what prompted all of your your journey into like meal prepping and personal training. Like that's also interesting.
Right. Okay. So I started working out when I was around 15 years old. My first time in the gym, I was with my dad, and my dad only used to play racquetball and used to like go on the cardio machines. So there was no weight training involved. I just basically followed him around. And for about maybe the first few 3 months, whatever, how in between that, I just kind of stayed on the cardio machines. I was super intimidated by everyone in the weight room. But gradually, I think I got inspired a lot by Instagram because they have all these like Instagram fit people, and I just wanted to do what they were doing. So gradually I made my way from cardio to circuit training to weight training. And from there, like after I started seeing results, I was super passionate about what I was doing with my body. I started getting so confident because in high school, I was not confident at all. But as I started to get stronger and I started to realize what my body could do, I just like that, something happened, something clicked in me, and I was so confident in everything that I was doing. And after that, it kind of made me want to show people how amazing exercise could be and how much it could help you mentally. So my senior year of high school, I started a fitness club called Fitness Junkies, and a lot of people actually came. I think people really knew that I love to work out because I would go in the mornings before school, and my disciplinary teacher, who always used to catch me running in late, was like, yell, "Get into class, you gym rat." And like from then on, everyone knew how much I loved working out. But yeah, people came and supported it, and I think I made a decent influence. I just wish I would have started it earlier. But anyways, I moved on to college, and I worked out a lot at UCSD, and UCSD was a really stressful place for me, especially in the beginning years, because I didn't know anyone. So it was just kind of my outlet. And as they mentioned, I was recruited to be a personal trainer in I think it was my third year of college. And I was recruited by LA Fitness just because I was actually training my neighbor at LA Fitness, and they caught me multiple times. And so they decided to hire me instead of having me do it against the rules, which was super cool and exciting. And so I actually trained in the LA Fitness in San Diego by Kearney Mesa. And I loved that job so much. It was the best thing that could have happened to me because I just felt like I had my people there, like people that loved fitness as much as I did. And it really opened my eyes because I realized that I didn't just have to stick to HIIT training, cardio training, circuit training. There was all kinds of training like boxing, yoga, dance, even dance. I didn't do dance, but it just opened my eyes to all the different kinds of fitness. And now I'm in my fourth year, and I no longer really weight train as much. I've like geared towards more endurance, and like performance training. So I do a lot of long distance running now, which is something I was never able to do, but now I'm pretty decent at it. I've tried with the whole coronavirus, I've like tried adding some yoga into my life, and it's really cool trying to learn how to do like one of those presses into a handstand from the ground.
Oh,
and it's going to take
hard.
some time. Yeah, it's going to take some time, but I have like a gymnastics background, so muscle memory. And yeah, I have a meal prep business that's currently on hold because the coronavirus has really just shrunk my customer base. But I'm really looking forward to starting that back up for all you UCSD students that maybe need some meal prep. And my dream for the future does actually involve fitness. I'm an international business major, and I really want to have my own fitness related business in the future. So I would like it to incorporate meal prep, personal training, and some sort of gym, but we'll see where that all goes. And I think that's it about me.
Wow. How are you able to like, I've always wondered this, like, how are you able to manage your time? And it's just amazing to me, honestly, that you're able to do this all.
Time. I am someone who's really bad at like living in the present. That's probably one of my biggest faults. So in terms of time, I'm always thinking ahead. And so like, I don't know. I don't really spend too much time slacking off. I'm always just doing something. So it's probably not the healthiest, but it's really helped me manage all these things at the same time.
Wait, and so going back to your recruitment by LA Fitness, so they just noticed you? Is that common, or like, I mean, that's so impressive. Like if you were just there training someone and they just noticed you, like like, how did that recruitment process work too?
Okay, so I had been going to that gym since I was 15, and then during the summers I would come back. And I think some of the trainers started to like really recognize how consistent I was. And I think the guy that recruited me, I think he had a crush on me. So I think that's why I know. Sometimes the kid, like girls have some kind of superpower that will get us sometimes. But yeah, he just noticed me training people, and he noticed that I was super consistent. And he told me that he really thought my workouts were impressive just because they had such a variety of different, like, what are they called? It's like when you perform an exercise, but you don't do it the normal way. I can't remember off the top of my head right now, but like I was just doing a variety of exercises that he thought I could really put to use to help other people too. And so the way it worked was, first of all, I had to say yes. And then they paid for my certification because it's actually really expensive to get certified as a trainer. And they like expedited it. They like gave me some study guide. They told me like, you mostly only need to know these things, so don't bother reading the whole thing, which is probably not the best thing, but I know the important stuff. And yeah, within a month I was certified and I was hired. So it was really exciting.
Wow, a month? That is so quick. Did you like really enjoy the training? Did you like make a lot of personal connections with the people that you worked with?
I loved it so much. So I didn't have a huge clientele base just because it was really hard to work around their schedules when I already had a school schedule. So most of my clients had to come in the evening, and a lot of people are not always into that. But the people that did stick around with me, oh my God, I loved them so much because they were the ones that were able to handle me as a trainer were really hardworking. They were really determined, and they just loved having a challenge because I was not the trainer that was like, oh, do you want to rest for the rest of this session? I was the person that was like, we gotta go, come on. So the people that I did meet, they just inspired me because of how hard they were willing to work.
I bet they were inspired by you too. If you didn't like hold their hand in anything, you made them do it. That's amazing. I had a lot
of fun. Yeah, and I met some really interesting people. Like all kinds of people like to get trained. So
can you walk through what you would typically ask a person when they like first start out?
Yeah, like as if I was a personal trainer to someone. Yeah. So basically, one of the first things I would always ask someone is like, what are your goals? How long do you want to take to get there? What are your eating habits? Because nutrition before exercise always. So I would ask them what their eating habits were, what their lifestyle was like, how many times a week they were willing to work out, and how hard they were willing to push, because that's really important. People do not like being sore, apparently. So I'd ask them that, and I would just, oh, and injuries. That's really important if they have any injuries, but just basically those things so I could tailor their exercises to exactly the goals they wanted to meet.
And so you said nutrition over exercise, right? Is that like what prompted your transition into like the meal prep business and like all that healthy eating?
Well, okay, so when I was working at LA Fitness, I actually started personal training online. So I would send them personalized guides rather than training them in person. And that went okay. It was really hard to convince people that I could give them results because I don't know, they didn't really see me training people, so they didn't really know if they could trust my plans. But I transitioned into meal prep just because I saw like this huge need for it, and I figured like I only need a few people to invest in my business in order for it to be something that I can handle and like financially handle. And so I just figured like maybe if I can get 10 people to buy my meals, it'll be awesome. And I got more than 10 people. I got like 20 people, and I was only meal prepping once a week, and I would have like hundreds of meals to make. And so I transitioned into meal prep just because it was something a little more sustainable. I could take pictures of my food and people would believe that it tasted good and they would have it and they would love it. And so it was just, I just kind of fell into it. I was, I tried training, that didn't work too well. I tried this and it worked even better. So yeah.
I low-key stalked your meal prep Instagram. The food pictures do look good.
Thank you.
Great.
Yeah, and I could verify that because I tried her beef burrito bowl. And
so cute.
when I was on Geisel, or on like the 5th floor of Geisel, starving. So thank you. That was delicious.
You guys are so sweet. Thank you so much.
I guess another question I have is, do you have any advice for people that would want to start meal prepping themselves? And advice for shopping on a budget too?
Yes. Okay. So you're definitely going to want to do your list in advance, and you're going to want to know exactly what you're going to be cooking in advance. Otherwise, you'll just get totally lost in the market. So if you're trying to do it on a budget, I would definitely focus on going for the less expensive items. Like oatmeal is going to be your best friend for breakfast. And I love oatmeal. So for all those people that don't like oatmeal, you can make it delicious with some peanut butter, I don't know, chocolate chips. It tastes really good and it's so cheap. So oatmeal is always a good staple if you're on a budget. Your carbs, you're definitely going to want to go for like rices or potatoes because those are really cheap. And then meats get kind of tricky if you're plant-based. They usually come out around the same, but you will want to go for things that are on sale. I would say usually like chicken and beef is a good bet, especially if it's like ground beef. And it gets, during the meal prep process, after you've bought all your groceries, it's really good to like make a list of what you're going to cook in like what order. That way you're always multitasking. If you're good at cooking, it's really good to multitask. So an example would be if you're going to make baked potatoes, you'll want to put those in the oven because they'll take like an hour to bake. And then in the meantime, if you have ground beef, you can just cook it on the stovetop while that's cooking, and then steam vegetables on the next stove. So everything just happens so much faster.
Oh, you're cooking like 3 different things at once.
Yes, make sure that you can handle them. You don't want to burn something. So just baby steps.
And where do you get your inspiration for all the meals that you create?
A lot of search on the internet. I'm actually obsessed with what I eat in a day. So sometimes they just kind of come to me. And, experience. I've been eating like this, like healthy, I should say, since I was maybe 16. The nutrition definitely followed after the exercise. But it just takes time. And then eventually you start dabbling with your own recipes, I should say.
Do you have any advice for like the people who are trying to meal prep right now when it's like kind of hard to get out into the stores and buy like fresh fruit or fresh meat, like fresh vegetables, anything like that?
Yeah, so I definitely experienced this. Luckily, the stores are a little bit better in terms of being stocked. Like people are not panic buying as much, but you're gonna want to allow for some flexibility. So the way I was doing it when I was still meal prepping for people, and I found that there was like nothing, I would basically just write on my list like I need a carb and I need a protein and I need a vegetable, and then I would write out the measurements of how much of each category I would need. And then whatever I could find, I would just take it. Like if I was planning on getting rice, but I only found pasta, I would just get the pasta and find some kind of sauce and then run with it, just allow for creativity and it'll be fine.
I need that flexibility.
You can do it.
I guess going back to choosing like your business over LA Fitness, how did you make that decision? It was mostly because like you said your clients, right?
Mm-hmm.
It was just difficult because you had school during the day.
That was really challenging. And I am someone that really loves flexibility just because I have so much going on right now. And LA Fitness, as much as I love the job, it was not flexible in terms of like if I wanted to go home for the summer, I couldn't just tell LA Fitness like, hey, I'm going to take a 3-month break. I'll see you later. But this business, me having my own business, I can work from wherever I want as long as I get the deliveries there on time. So I love that. I would come home on the weekends every weekend and then just drive back to San Diego and make my deliveries that evening. And that's something that I've always wanted for myself. And that's what I want in my future.
Wait, so tell us more about like what you have projected for yourself. You said you wanted to like mix your major in business as well as healthy eating as well as fitness.
Yeah. So for my future, this is like the dream, guys. Like I'm aiming for this. I don't know if it'll happen, but I have positive thoughts.
I'm rooting for you. I'm rooting for you no matter what.
Thank you. So my business is called VSP Meal Prep. And at first it was just supposed to be called VSP. And I'm going to explain what that means, even though sometimes I get embarrassed. One day I was like especially stressed about school. And I had to like sit myself down and I had to tell myself like, okay, what do I need to get done? And I just wrote down 3 little words on my agenda and they were visualize, strategize, and perform. And so I wanted that to be the motto of my business because fitness, a lot of people get overwhelmed when they think of their goals and they think like, I don't know how to get there. This is so intimidating. The gym is a scary place. I wish I could eat like this, but I can't. They just get overwhelmed. It's a lot. And so I think it's really important for people to sit down with themselves and say, okay, visualize what your goals are. What do you need to get done? Strategize. How are you going to do it? And then perform. Do it. And so that's what I want my business to be. That's what I want the motto to be. And that was going to entail 3 different things because to reach your fitness goals, you need to exercise, you need to eat healthy, and you need a place to do it all. And so, like I said before, I want a gym. I want to be able to train people in that gym, and I want a meal prep business somehow connected to the gym would be ideal. That way, when people are done exercising, they can go get their healthy meal. And that is in the future, whether I'm doing it out of my garage or whether I'm doing it at some fancy building. That's the goal.
Can you let me know when that happens? Because I want to be there. I want to be your first client.
I appreciate that so much. I will be knocking on your door.
Yes. You know where to find me.
So happy that you guys support that.
And so I had a quick question also about like your transition to like what is it? Are you said you're vegan now?
Right. So I can't call myself a vegan because sometimes I will have meat.
Mm-hmm.
Like 2 nights ago, I had a potato ball with meat in it and it was delicious. But yeah, so I have gradually, or I shouldn't say gradually, just one day I kind of went cold turkey and I stopped eating meat or dairy products all of a sudden. And that lasted for about like 3 months. And now sometimes I feel like my body really craves meat. So I'll just feed it that and then I'll go back to plant-based. But anyways, I started doing plant-based diet because I watched The Game Changers on Netflix. Y'all should really watch it. It's life-changing, or it was for me. And I loved what they were saying. They were saying all the right things, in my opinion. They were talking about how the food that you put inside of yourself really affects your performance in general. And as someone who loves working out and is driven by progress, I wanted to try it, and I did. I improved so much. Like, my running, I was kind of plateauing, and after maybe a week of eating plant-based, I was able to start running 3 miles, 2 minutes less than what was before. And I know that doesn't sound like a lot, but running every second counts, you guys. So it was really impressive to me. And I even told my boyfriend, who is like in love with running, and he was just telling me that like that's amazing progress for you to be able to push yourself like that. And in general, I felt really good. Like, I wake up at 5 a.m, usually when I have school. And usually it's such a pain to get up because like the sun's not up. I don't want to be up. But with veganism, I was waking up at 4:50 every day before my alarm, fully energized. And I was like, okay, I like this. And honestly, I was so tired of always basing my meals around some meat. So like when I just decided that I could eat whatever all the carbs that I wanted, and it would still like support what I was trying to do with my body, it was awesome. It was like kind of liberating.
Wow, you're such an example, Jasmine.
Stop, you're so sweet.
Wow. So I noticed, like, I guess when you were like,
1 second, I'm so sorry. I'm gonna turn on my light.
I guess I noticed that, like, I guess when you did have a craving to eat meat or anything else, you didn't like restrict yourself from it. Like, you kind of let yourself kind of go through the diet a little bit.
I definitely am. Like, there are many times where I'll crave it, but I only crave it because it smells good. There are other times when I genuinely feel like my body is asking for it. Like, I'll have a little headache that I feel like for whatever reason meat is gonna fix. I don't know if that's weird, but sometimes I feel really in tune with my body where I really like I know what it needs, and that's when I'll give it meat. I won't just give it meat when it smells good or something, you know.
Yeah.
But yeah, you guys should definitely try it. I think it's a really good lifestyle choice. Meatless Mondays, they say.
I mean, if it truly helps your training that much, I'm kind of interested. Like, I want my energy levels to be really high. Like, I want to wake up before 5. How I wish.
Yeah, I would feel energized right when I wake up.
Yeah, and you don't even have to like be vegan. You can just have like 1 day out of the week where you don't eat meat, and then, you know, eat meat the rest of the week. It's just nice to try.
Oh, we have a YouTube commenter.
Okay. Oh, Yasmin, I think they have a question for you. They're asking, what's your go-to cheat meal prep?
Cheat. So I usually don't. Oh wait, cheap meal prep or cheat?
Cheap. Sorry. Yeah. Like
I know. I was like I usually don't cheat for a whole meal prep. Okay. It depends what meal. If it's breakfast, I definitely say oatmeal all the way with like lots of peanut butter. If it's lunch, is this like a meat eater or a vegan? I'll say both. For veganism, right now I'm eating tofu. Tofu is so cheap. It's like $1.50 per pack. Y'all need to know this. It's tofu, rice, and then some frozen veggies. And usually on the tofu, I'll put some kind of seasoning. Right now I'm really into teriyaki sauce, and that's super good. Also, if you want a dinner one, I usually make like bean tacos with tofu mixed with soy rizo, and that's dinky. Tortillas, beans, and tofu and soy rizo, all super cheap.
that sounds good.
Sounds
I'm getting hungry.
really good.
7:34 p.m. and dinner is. Thank you so much for answering.
Yeah. No, thank you for asking. I'm so happy someone had a question.
Sorry. Oh, and then in general, I just had a question about like, I guess your training during the pandemic. Has that been changing a lot?
So I feel like I got really lucky because sometimes I get a little flustered when something interrupts my training. Like, I do it religiously. And so I would say maybe like 6 months before this whole pandemic went down, I went into transitioning from only weight training to, like I said, the endurance training with the circuit training. So my training has been really consistent. Like, I can do these workouts anywhere. Now it's just usually in my room instead of, like, I don't know, outside or in the apartment. But yeah, no, it hasn't changed or been impacted really.
Okay. Well, I guess one final question to like close everything off, and yeah, one final question is like, sorry. Do you have any advice for like people working out at home and trying to stay healthy, or things in general just for the pandemic? And
Yeah. So I feel like the biggest issue with working out at home I feel like there's two big issues. One is it's really hard to stay motivated because I know a lot of people go to the gym because they get pumped when they're there. So just at this point, since we're going to be in here so long, it's going to be more than motivation. You're going to have to like get disciplined with your workouts from home and just tell yourself, like, every day I'm going to complete a workout, whether it's a big or small one, and just do it, you know? Especially if you were maybe like a weightlifter and you're really bummed that you don't have all those weights anymore. I would say something is definitely better than nothing. Like, pick something new up, give yourself a hella crazy push-up challenge so that you get some kind of pump. Whatever you have to do, just don't stop. And then in terms of like these people that only did weight training, if you don't have any workouts that you know how to accommodate at home, it's probably going to take some research, but you can do it. Like, just find things around your house maybe that are heavy, put it on a backpack and just like use it, you know, curl it, squat with it, whatever you got to do.
be creative.
But, yeah, you have to be creative, especially if you don't have your own equipment at home. So research, stay disciplined. You got this.
I'm feeling inspired already.
Maybe
I'll go like
After this.
curl a water bottle. How many pounds do you guys think a water bottle is?
Like one.
What? That's it?
Just keep curling it until it gets.
Cool. Thank you so much, Jasmine, for coming on and giving us like all the details about your exercising and your business endeavors. And thanks to any listeners who tuned in for EIM's second podcast. We hope this was helpful to you guys. If any of you are ever interested in like meal prepping, personal training, or even just exercising. And I guess one last thing to say is, I guess check out EIM at UCSD on Facebook for more updates about like upcoming podcasts and our fun weekly newsletters. And yeah, I think that's it. That's all we have for today. Thank you so much, Jasmine.
Thank you. I had so much fun. Of course. I'll see you guys later.